I'm Shawn Redford, Chief Business Development Officer here at Experior. I'm a little embarrassed to say this. I'm not a big social media person, but I have to admit, I watch Reels every day, and I find it kind of sets the tone. I would love to be able to read before I get started, but if I start reading, I get into it. The great thing about Reels, and most of the Reels that I seem to get are motivational or inspiring or business related, sales related. So you never know what's going to hit you that day when I'm flying through these Reels, but I find there's always, every day, there's one thing that resonates with me, and it kind of gives me that pump, that push to get the day off on the right foot. And then I'll often find that I reference that reel or that content at some point during the day as well. So it's a bit of, the law of attraction, the universe attracting itself to you in that way. It really is simple. It's the fact that we are an organization built by agents, for agents, and owned by its agents. It's something I say every time I get an opportunity to on stage, because I do think that is the fundamental difference between us and every other financial services organization I've ever worked with or been a part of or associated with in my career. And I've had the pleasure to work with a lot of incredible organizations, but at the end of the day, they are all run by shareholders or private equity firms who have one goal, one mandate, and that's profitability. It's about making money. This organization wasn't built to make money. It makes great money. Our founders make great money. Our agents make great money. Our staff make great money. That was never the purpose. It was always designed to make a difference in the marketplace that otherwise is run by Bay Street, Wall Street, or private equity firms, and not the people who are actually in charge of the results that lead to the success of the organization, but also to the consumers that at the end of the day, that's who we're serving. The opportunities at Experior are absolutely incredible because we are a builder model, but we're so much more than that. In an industry where the majority of agents are not in the builder model, they are in the independent channel, working on an island unto themselves. They're alone, they're burnt out, they might have great overrides, but they're not making any money. They don't really own their business, because if something happens to them, they'll find out very quickly that they don't actually own their business. Nobody's going to be accountable to their beneficiaries for the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into building their businesses. And at the end of the day, who is going to succeed them in their business? What is the succession plan? Very few agents actually have a true succession plan. The opportunity for us to target that market through helping them understand that we're not that different, but we add so much more value than they're getting anywhere else. They're not getting support. They're not getting compensation. They're not getting true development programs or leadership or collaboration. They are all working on their own to try and succeed by themselves. And, I've often used the analogy that when I was in that model, whether in a sales capacity as an agent or in a wholesaling capacity or leadership capacity, I always felt like I was a soldier without an army. I was having to go into every battle on my own. Whereas at Experior, and I'll even give credit to other builder model organizations, you're part of a bigger group. Your success isn't all predicated on what you do on your own. There are so many people that want to invest in you and support you. Yes, sure, it helps them as well in their business, but at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you as well. And you don't find that in most other models today. That was what really Leanne and Jamie recognized when they left the builder model organization they were with, went to the independent channel, succeeded on their own, but then they weren't given an opportunity to help others succeed in the same way. That's when they said, you know what, we're going to have to do this ourselves. We're going to have to find a way to bridge the gap between the sales, training, and support you get in the captive model, the independence and freedom to build your business and generate higher revenue in the independent model, while still having the collaboration and leadership and diversification of your income in the builder model. Those three are what we call the Tri-Brid model, and that's really what differentiates us here. The other great opportunity I believe we have is the economy is changing. Consumers now are becoming more do-it-yourself. I mean, you see all the home improvement shows, this gig economy that I'd never heard of referenced before the last few years during COVID. It's really changed the way people are operating, and I think the way the economy is operating. And I think we have an opportunity to not only educate consumers, but why not give them an opportunity to do it themselves? Why not, through the process of learning about becoming an agent, actually becoming an agent, whether they build a business or not is irrelevant. They will become educated. They'll they'll be able to help their friends, their families. And if they make some commissions off of it, off of their own sales to themselves, their friends, families, it's giving them an opportunity to become more financially independent themselves just by sheer virtue of understanding finances, because we don't get taught it in school. Our parents certainly don't teach us as well. So we can be that organization to educate the consumer, give them an opportunity to generate revenue, see if they like this as a career alternative, and then who knows, this could become a great opportunity for them. So I think giving the consumer an opportunity to be more engaged in their own financial planning, giving them the tools, resources, just like we do to our agents here at Experior. Let's make them accessible to the consumer as well. And I think we'll be surprised at how many of them will transition into this business, whether part-time or full-time. I think the fundamental responsibility of business development, and I guess business development wears two hats, because I have the role that's both the education and development of agents, but also the sales side. So it's great that we're bringing those two together here. And I think for us, it's our responsibility in business development to anticipate the needs of our agents, to listen to their needs and give them the tools, the resources, the support they need in order to succeed in the field, whether it's in one-on-one client engagements or if it's in recruiting other agents. We need to give them everything so that regardless of their level, their title, whether they're an associate, financial associate, executive partner, doesn't matter, anything in between, we are giving them the opportunity to succeed from the very beginning as soon as they join us here at Experior. I'm talking about everything from helping our agents build a business, to manage a business, to prospect that business. All the tools and resources that they need in order to fill in all of those gaps. I have to say my pride and joy is Experior Academy. It's our online university, our learning management system. It's still very much in the works. It's still in the infancy stages, but it is going to differentiate us even more than our current value proposition does, because it's going to give agents at every level of their development the tools and the resources, the specific training that they're going to need in order to succeed. That is the house that we are building everything around. So when an agent comes in, they don't know how to submit their first piece of business. There's a whole learning track to show them how they can do that. They want to start building centers of influence in their market. They're going to be able to go in and identify what is the market, but then how do I market to that market? What do I say? What materials am I going to share with them? What products and solutions am I going to recommend at this stage for that client? It's going to basically give them 24/7 access, a lot of it micro learning. So it's only 3-5 minutes long, so that, as they're dropping their kids off at school, or maybe running an errand, or even maybe it's on the way to a meeting. As I said, I start my day off with these reels. Maybe this would be one of their reels to inspire them and motivate them as they're going into a client sale with somebody, just to give them that little bit more confidence that they can do this, that they can succeed in this business. The other great thing about Experior Academy is that our field agents are going to be able to learn from their leaders. And by their leaders, I don't mean just their upline leaders, but the other leaders in this organization. This resource is going to allow us to collaborate across all the different teams and share the best success stories from each of them to the entire field. And in this way, I believe that Experior Academy is going to differentiate us in the industry by bringing us closer together. I'll admit that's probably one of the hardest parts of my job, because, all of our agents want to be heard. And again, we're an organization built by agents, for agents, and owned by its agents. So at the end of the day, I'm accountable to our shareholders, who are our agents. So they all have a voice and they all have an opinion. So it's hard to give them their voice and to find the time to listen to all of these things that they would like us to do. The wish list, believe me, is very, very long. So, I'm starting to vet more of these with the help of the rest of the business development team. But at the end of the day, how we decide on any decision is that there has to be a business case for it, and there has to be value. Everything that we do has to either be generating revenue for our agents or allowing them an opportunity to add value to the end consumer or their recruit, whoever it is that they're targeting at that point, so that they can generate revenue off of that and build their business from it. So, everything has to have a good business case. If it doesn't make sense, we're not going to pursue it. That's probably the easiest question for me to answer because it's our founding premise. We are built by agents, for agents, and owned by its agents. Everything we do is for their benefit. I often say our core value proposition is our compensation, our independence, our ownership, and our legacy program. Without a doubt, we have the strongest value proposition in the industry, bar none. And as I said, with Experior Academy, it's just going to allow our agents to have a greater likelihood of success here versus anywhere else that they would be. So if we focus on our founding premise and our current core value proposition of those 4 items, compensation, independence, ownership, and legacy, we're really the only game in town right now. We certainly can't be naive. We are seeing a lot of copycats in the marketplace that see the value of what it is that we're doing, not to mention the success we're having in a really short period of time. Those copycats are going to continue to follow our lead. We continue to have to be ahead of the curve. And I think, again, that's where Experior Academy is coming in. That's where our new leadership team, not to mention our new alliance with Associate Owners Group, is also going to be a huge value added benefit for us going forward. I think the boldest pitch for me was, it became known in the Canadian industry that I was going to be retiring from corporate Canada and going back into personal production. And I had sold my wife on this idea leading up to it. The guaranteed paycheck, moving to, commission-based structure. I had negotiated to buy a big book of business. I had all these consulting deals. I had everything lined up for years leading up to decision day. And within 3 months of decision day, I attended a conference online because it was COVID and it was Experior. It was their online convention in February of 22. So I was watching this, and for the first time in my career, or at least the time that I'd known Jamie and Leanne and the Experior team, which at that point had been close to 10 years. And over that time, I'd never considered joining Experior or working with Experior. In that moment, I thought, maybe there's more to this. So I had a couple great conversations with Jamie and Leanne, and I decided I wanted to be a part of that vision. I wanted to be a part of the disruption and the revolution in financial services. So the pitch was going home to my wife and saying, so, all that stuff I've been planning for the last few years and all that money I'd have allocated to this new plan, forget all that. I'm going to go work at Experior instead. She had obviously nothing but support for me, but she was concerned for me because she knew I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to make my own impact. But I think what she appreciated, which is what I appreciated, the opportunity here at Experior is going to give me much greater impact than I ever could have done on my own. And in answer to your last question, how's it worked out so far? It's been pretty damn good. Absolutely. I think everybody has difficulties when you start in this business. If you think about it, you are the mailroom, the marketing department, the sales team, the operations team, the IT department. You have to learn everything about being an entrepreneur overnight. And I think that's the biggest problem in our industry, especially with how it's evolved over the last 25 years away from that captive sales and recruit mentality to this independent model where the insurance companies, sure, they're paying a lot more money to the agent than they used to, but they're also giving no support. And it's the intermediaries, the MGAs or the IMOs in the States that are supposed to be doing that. But really all they're doing is they're funneling that compensation, again, down through the agent and saying, hey, we're going to pay you more money, because that's what agents always get focused on. It's all about the override. But they forget you can't spend override. You can only spend dollars. So who's helping you actually generate revenue? And when I came into this industry, I was fortunate. I started off at a bank, but when I left the bank and I actually became an independent agent, I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. I thought just by being smart and knowing more than the next guy, I would be successful. But that's not the case. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need that structure. You need processes. And you don't develop that on your own overnight. Somebody's got to teach you these things, whether you agree with that person or not. And I've had many mentors in my career. I haven't agreed with everything everyone has said, but I've agreed with something that everyone has said, and I've made it my own. And I think that's led to my success over the years, is that I surrounded myself with people that knew the business, the different areas of the business better than I did. And I learned from them, and then I moved on. As I grew and evolved, so did they. And my center of influence now, the people that I consider friends in this industry on both sides of the border, I can't be more proud of those people and the fact that I'm in that group of people. And I attribute it to all the people that I've worked with up until this point. They're the ones that have put me in this position to succeed. I have grown to have so much respect for Leanne. I think I call her a servant leader. She's not going to ask you to do anything she hasn't either done herself or wouldn't be willing to do herself. She's the kind of person that leads by example based on the needs of whoever she believes to be serving at the time. I think she's very adaptable, depending on what kind of leadership style you need. And I'll use an example. The way she leads me versus the way she leads Nathania are very different. That, I think, is a testament to her leadership skill, is that she will adapt to your needs, not based on what she believes. She certainly doesn't want accolades. I mean, I think we all want accolades, but she doesn't do it for the accolades. She leads for the results and to make sure that everybody is succeeding, and efficiencies and profitability, all of that is really important. But at the end of the day, she wants all of the individuals to succeed, and it doesn't matter what role they're in. You can tell when she's talking to somebody, she's genuinely interested in them. And if there's a way that she can add value to them in that moment, I resonate with that. I find I'm the same way. If I'm meeting with somebody, I want to find a way to add value. And that's why I think Leanne and I have really become pretty close over the last few years. And that's why we're working much better together now. We've got a respect for each other, and the fact that we're always working in the best interest of whomever it is we're serving. I think the publicity that we're finding it's bringing is going to help our agents in a number of different ways. I think just bringing attention to Experior is going to be great. Just the name brand recognition, the more people hear a brand, a name, the more familiar they become with it, the more they believe they already have some association with it. So it should make it easier for our agents to recruit people to Experior because it's now quote unquote a household name in a lot of circles. But I think larger than that, AOG as a conglomerate, as a holding company, reservoir that will help agents in every aspect of their business. The fact that we've got a CRM platform in there that we're going to be able to customize for their benefit. The fact that there's one, if not multiple, property and casualty insurers that are going to be part of this organization are going to allow us economies of scale, but the opportunities to refer to these individuals to profit off of the premiums that we're paying for things like errors and emissions insurance and such. The fact that we have ownership in that organization as well certainly makes me feel a little bit better when I'm paying out money for whatever resource it is. A reinsurance company giving our agents the ability to profit off of the insurance sales that they're making with the respective insurance companies. Just the sheer size of what this organization is going to become, whether or not it ever becomes a publicly traded company, which I think we all very much expect it will. I think just by virtue of the size of what this is going to bring in the economies of scale and the negotiating power, at the end of the day, I can't see how it won't be of incredible benefit to all of our agents. Our people, whether it's our corporate leaders, our corporate staff, our field leaders, or all of our agents. I can't tell you if there's ever been an event that I've attended or that I've hosted where I haven't had partner company wholesalers or leaders come up to me in the event and say, you guys are different. You guys are diverse, genuine about what it is you're trying to achieve, what it is you're trying to help agents and consumers get out of financial services. What we've created is an environment where everybody can succeed. And we truly believe everybody can succeed here. It's not the haves and the have-nots. It's if you don't have it yet, you can have it, just like all the rest of them did. It really is our people. Our people make us who we are.
Dream vacation, beach, city, or mountains?
I'm going to take two. I want mountains with a beach.
Ambitious.